like I said, welcome back to Employability ESOL, provided by Accelerate and the Watch Centre. We'll get started. Okay, so we're looking at the present tense today, and our learning objectives will be to identify the present tense in a sentence, to identify the present perfect tense, and to identify the present perfect continuous tense. Okay, so if you already recognise what these terms are, you can just use this session as a quick review. If not, then that's okay. We'll quickly cover what each of these are and how to identify them. As always, we'll go through the presentation now. If you have any questions or don't understand anything, you can send a message to the Zoom chat, which you'll find on your sidebar. You can either send a message direct to me, or you can send one to the whole group. So use that, please, to ask any questions or whatever. If you need to say something to me or the others, that's absolutely fine. We'll get started. Okay, so what is the present tense? The present tense describes what is happening right now in the present moment. So if I was to say, use the present tense, I would say I am teaching an ESOL session. So that would describe what I'm doing right now. Or if you were to use the present tense about yourself, you could say you are watching an ESOL session. So you can see how that's talking about and describing what is happening right now in the present moment. So easy ways to identify the present tense. You'll notice we've got this on this listening, we've got the ing. Same with working, we've got ing on the end. Talking, you've got the ing. Typing, ing. These are all present tense verbs and describe maybe if you work as a receptionist or in a call centre. These are all different activities you would do in that job, but we know that all of these are written in the present tense because they've got this ing ending. Okay, so that's just an easy way to identify the present tense. Now, if you remember our root words, so if we were to look at these words, I'll just get the pen. If we were to look at these words, the listening is, oops, that's better. The listen and the work and the type and the talk are all our root words, and the ing endings for present tense or ed for past tense is what you add to make the tense, to put the root word into the tense. So like with roots at the base of a tree, the leaves and the branches are added onto the end and can change, and that's the same for our root word. You're just changing the endings. So if we look at these present tense root words, you can see we've got listen, and then we've got the ing added on the end. We've got phone, ing added on the end. Type, added on the end. We've got interview, ing added on the end. We've got work with the ing added on the end. We've got apply with the ing added on the end. So we've got our root words, and the ing is telling us that it is the present tense. Okay, and that's just a quick breakdown of how it's done. It's very similar to the past tense, you're just adding the ending on. So we've got listen, ing, and we get listening. So that's just the basic present tense and how to identify and write it. Okay, so here's a couple of example sentences. I work in a shop, that would be present tense because I work is our present tense. The florist is speaking to a customer, and they're speaking with the ing on the end of the verb. This tells us that this sentence is in the present tense as well. So the florist right now is speaking to a customer. Here are a few present tense key skills and qualities. We have our root word and we have our present tense form. So if we were to look at the present tense, we'd have multitasking with the ing on the end. We've got mentoring with the ing on the end, and communicating with the ing on the end. Now, if we look at our root word, you'll see that we don't have the ing on the end. So we just got multitask, mentor, and communication. So these are our root words, which we add the different endings onto, and the ing will make it the present tense. Okay, if you're not quite sure what a couple of these skills are, multitasking is where you're very good at doing different things at the same time. So you might be, right now, you might be writing notes about this session while listening and watching and being able to do different things at the same time. That is what multitasking is. Say if you worked in a shop, you might be working on a checkout and running things through the till, but you'll also be maybe giving good customer service, answering the customer's question at the same time. All of that is multitasking skills. Mental, now maybe if you work with a group of people or one person, it's where you guide and give help to other members of the team. So maybe someone new has started and you show them how to do certain things. You might show them, if you work in this shop, how to stock correctly, where to find things, and this mentoring role is a key quality and skill that if you've got experience of, is great to put in CVs and applications. And communication, that's verbal and written communication, so you're very good at talking with people understand what you're saying, and same with if you're writing, you have very good written abilities and you've written very clearly. Okay, so we've then got the present perfect tense. So the present perfect tense describes what was starting in the past and has continued up until now. So it will be an action you started in the past and you've just finished. So maybe for this, you would say, I have logged onto Zoom. So it's something you started in the past and you've just recently stopped because you are now logged onto Zoom. You're not still logging onto it. Okay. I'm not sure who drew the red line, but if you're able to, can you use the eraser to rub it out? That'd be really helpful, thanks. But then if we look at the present perfect tense, so we've got our root word here, move. So move as in you're moving something, you move yourself, moving something from one place to another. That's our root word. And then here we've got the different tenses. So we've got the past tense, the present tense, and the present perfect tense. Now we'll look at the differences for this. So for the past tense, we've got that ed ending. So we would say, we would change the root word move to I moved with the ed ending. For the present tense, we would have I am moving. So we've got the ing ending for the present tense. Okay, something that's happening right now. And then for the present perfect tense, we have I have moved. So something you started and which is now finished. So you were, so this I have indicates emotion, and the ed on the end indicates the past tense. So the present perfect tense is I have moved with this ed. So if you ever see the I have or the have and the ed, it's probably the present perfect tense. And that's when you want to describe something that has started but has finished, but isn't as definite as just the past tense on its own. So here are a couple of examples. We have the present tense here. I am working in a shop. So I'm working, this ing is our present tense. For our past tense, we've got I worked in a shop with our ed ending, whereas for the present perfect tense, we've got I have worked in a shop. So I have worked with our ed ending is our present perfect tense. Don't worry if you're not quite sure or you want to go over this again, because this the way we work out the present perfect tense and also the present perfect continuous tense is all written in the ESOL booklet or worksheets, which have been emailed to you or sent to you via post if you're on the Accelerate project. And this session will be edited and the recording video will be put onto our Watch YouTube channel, so you can re-watch it at a later date, which I will send you links to later on in the week. So don't worry right now about not understanding it all. You can go back to this and learn it later on. So back to the present perfect tense. Here's an example word. Like always, we're going to look for our nouns first. So nouns are people, place or a thing. So I is a noun because it's a person, it's a pronoun. Have started a new job, and job is a thing. So the job and I are our nouns. So now we're going to look for our verbs. Our verb is our action word, it is our doing word, it tells us what the person or the main object in the sentence is doing, and this person have started a job. So started would be our verb, and we know what tense it is because it's got this ed tense, so that would imply it is the past tense. Okay, so now we're going to look for our adjectives. Now our adjective is our describing verb. The adjective describes the noun. So new is describing our noun job. So our brand new job. There's no adjectives to describe I, so we've just got the one for job. Okay, and then our conjunctions. If you remember, our conjunctions are our connective words. So at the moment we've got I started new job. Doesn't make grammatical sense. So we know we need a conjunction in it. And so here we've got our little a, which just strings together and makes the whole sentence flow better. Now if we're looking for tense, so we're looking for what tense it is. If we want the present perfect tense, this I have and the ed together tells us that this is the present perfect tense. So the have and the ed. So we know that this whole sentence, I have started a new job, is the present perfect tense. Okay, so now we've got the present perfect continuous tense. Now you'll notice there's a different word. We've got this continuous in, which is inside the present and perfect in the tense. So what is the present perfect continuous tense? So the present perfect continuous tense describes events which started in the past but may not be finished, so it's ongoing. So instead of saying I have logged on to Zoom, you might say I have been logging on to Zoom if you maybe are struggling to stay logged on, if that was the scenario. But here is some examples with comparisons for the other tenses so that we can work out exactly what the present perfect continuous tense is. So, so here we've got our root word move, which we're going to add all the endings onto again, and here we've got all our different tenses. So we have the past tense here, and then we know this is the past tense because we've got the ed moved onto the end. For the present tense, we've got the ing, I am moving, onto the end of the root word. For the present perfect tense, which remember is what we've just looked at, we have the I have moved ed. So the have and ed onto the end of the root word is our present perfect tense. But now when we look at the present continuous tense, we'll see here that I have been moving with an ing ending is what the present perfect continuous tenses. So you would be looking for the have been to show something that started in the past, but the ing ending onto the end of the root word would suggest that it is a still ongoing action. It's not finished, it's not in the past tense like the present perfect tenses with the ed, it's right now in the present tense ing. So I hope that clears that up a little bit. So now if we look at that in some example sentences, you'll be able to see that I am working in a shop is our present tense. I worked in a shop is our past tense. I have worked in a shop is our present perfect tense. And I have been working in a shop is our present perfect continuous tense. Okay, so can you see the differences on what all these are? So we've got the ing for the present tense, the ed for the past tense, and the have and the ed for the present perfect tense. So I have been working in a shop. So what have we looked at today? So today we've looked at what is the present tense. You'll find that the present tense is this ing here. So our present tense is this ing. So if you've got the ing onto the end of the root word, you are looking at the present tense. So yeah, we've looked at what the present tense is, how to identify the present perfect tense. So if you remember, our present perfect tense is this line. So you are looking for that I have, and I have worked with the ed for our present perfect tense. So yeah, so a good way to learn this is just to do some practice sentences, find some root words and start adding the endings on to identify. And then we've got how to identify the present perfect continuous tense. So our present perfect continuous tense is this line here. And then we've got, so we have I have been working in a shop would become I have been working. So remember, you need that have been for the past tense and the ing for the present tense, and when put together this makes the present perfect continuous tense because it's something that started in the past but is still ongoing because of that ing. So yeah, we've looked at how to identify the present tense, the present perfect tense, and the present perfect continuous tense. So do feel free to watch this video again, or to have a go at the worksheet to see how to put these theories into practice to identify them in real sentences. So now we've finished, we want to tick off our present tense on your lesson checklist. So here we are. If we tick off present tense right here, and then we're going to be looking at future tense on Thursday. Also, you need to complete the present tense worksheets. So these will have been emailed to you, or if you're on Accelerate, you'll have the ESOL booklet. So you'll be able to find the present tense worksheets because they'll say present tense at the top. We've probably got time to just do a couple of examples. Yeah, we have. So I'll zoom in. Let's pick one. Here we go. So here's an example sentence. We have, she is cleaning the office. So we're going to look for our nouns. What's our nouns? Our noun is she is cleaning the office, and office is a place. So she and office are our nouns. Our verb is what she's doing, so she's cleaning. So cleaning is our verb. Our conjunctions is and the, because they make the sentence make sense. Otherwise you'd have she cleaning office, which isn't a proper sentence, but she is cleaning the office completes our sentence. Now if we're going to look for our root word is clean, and so we know that our endings will be added on to create our tense. And what tense do we have? We have this ing on the end, so we know this is the present tense because we have ing onto the end of the verb or the root word. But so these sentences are quite straightforward. You should be able to do these ones quite easily. This next one, you're going to be writing a sentence for each of these nouns. Put the sentence in the present tense. So you're going to pick a place, and you might write, I am going to the park today. That would be something in the present. Or actually, I'm going to the park now. That would be the present tense. Or I am shopping in the supermarket. That would be a sentence in the present tense. These are past and present exercises, so you're going to need to find the right skill or quality. You're going to be putting it into the sentence, and what you put in is going to match what the sentence is. So if the sentence is in past tense, you need to put this either the root word or it in the present tense into the past tense, or the same the other way around. So they're all quite straightforward too. If you do have trouble, do email me. You've got my email. and we can go through it together if not. So here is the worksheet on the present perfect tense. So we've got a little explanation about what the present perfect is and the differences, so you can refer to this when you want to revise. And remember, we're going to put these words into the present perfect tense. So if we were to pick soul, actually no, let's start at the start. We've got work. So we're going to put work into the present perfect tense. Now remember, the present perfect tense is something that started and has probably finished. So we're looking for that have and that ed ending onto the root word. So if we were to put this into a sentence, we would say, I have worked. So I have worked would be our present perfect tense. Okay, because you've got this have and you've got this ed ending. Okay, you're just going to do the same for each of these other ones. Okay, and so a present perfect continuous tense now. Remember, it's something that started in the past and may still be ongoing. It may not be finished. So you're going to have that have been and that ing ending onto the end of the root word. So the same with this work. It would go, I have worked. Oh no, my mistake. Got the have been because this is present perfect continuous tense. So we've got I have been working. Okay, so because this is present continuous tense, you're going to have the have and the been and the ing ending. Okay, so and you're just going to do the same for each of the different words. Okay, so the worksheets are quite self-explanatory. You've got your lesson checklist to tick off, and next week we're going to be looking at the future tense. So do join us for that, 11 AM on Thursday, where we're going to be looking at the different kinds of future tense. And then next week we've got singular and plural and pronouns. So we've already got quite a lot of the way through this 6-week course, which is quite impressive that we're doing so well, and so many of you have been attending, which is really nice. Like I said, if you've got any questions, do email me and get in touch if so. If not, I'll see you all at 11 AM on Thursday for the future tense. Okay, thank you guys for joining. I'm going to end the session now. Thank you guys.